Hey patrons, it's Queen Auset-Heru, of course. And thank you so much for being a patron, and thank you for coming and checking out another edition of Magical Minutes. Now, as always, it's a very short video, but today I wanted to teach you something that I learned from the Hoodoo magical tradition. Hoodoo is the magical tradition that was pretty much used by African Americans in the South. It's a combination of voodoo, traditional African spiritual beliefs, and things that they learned from other European groups and Native American groups and incorporated into their spiritual practices. My great grandmother was a hoodoo practitioner. Some of you might even have some people in your family because I didn't know. My mother didn't tell me until I was in my 30s. And I've come to find that a lot of people have this tradition from their Southern ancestors and things along those lines. But back then, magic was always done in secret. So a lot of people didn't know who practiced, or they didn't tell who practiced if they did know. So this tradition is pretty old. It comes all the way back from pretty much as soon as Africans started to be kidnapped from Africa and enslaved. Right about then is when it started. All these different groups of people who had never really known each other before started to share spiritual practices, and hoodoo was born. So the other day, I was reading this really great book. It's called Hoodoo Herb and Root Magic. It's by Catherine Ironwood. Now, it says it is all about the materia magica of African American conjure. That's what they called it. They called it conjure. And I think they called it hoodoo too, but more often they called it conjure. Traditional formulary giving the spiritual uses of natural herbs, roots, minerals, and zoological curios. Okay. Now, what did I learn from this? A lot, okay? I learned a new spell that I wanted to teach you. I know a lot of you have this issue, so I thought it would be good for me to teach this to you guys. You ever have somebody come over your house and they keep coming over your house and you really don't want them to come over your house, but you don't want to tell them that? It could be a family member, it could be your wife or husband's friend, it could be, a neighbor, anybody like that. Well, they had a very interesting spell that they used to keep this kind of person from returning to your home. Now, for all kind of spells that you do, sometimes they have to be repeated. But according to this, if you get a brand new broom, yes, a broom, what you're going to do is you're going to take salt and black pepper. You also can use red pepper. And you take this mixture, and basically when the person leaves, you sweep this mixture in the direction that they went. So let's say you're at your front door, and let's say they went to the right to get to their car, or they went to the left. You sweep this salt and pepper mixture in that direction. And as you're sweeping it, say out loud, if you can, "Go away and never come back again." Okay? Until all of the salt and pepper is gone. And basically, according to this person, you might have to repeat this more than once if it's a persistent person. But according to this, and of course, they also recommend that you pray on it too. The hoodoo tradition, the conjure tradition, was very heavily I shouldn't say it was influenced, but they did use psalms and things like that from the Bible. So it says here that if you pray or if you read Psalm 37, it will make it that much more powerful. So the next time somebody comes by that you don't want to return, this is something I'm going to use. I'm going to use this. Nobody comes here that I don't want to come here, but I'm definitely going to keep this one in my book of shadows. So if you have unwanted guests, this is one way to keep them from coming back. And don't forget, you must say, go away and never come back again. I would say it over and over as I'm sweeping whatever my mixture is. As I'm sweeping, I would just keep saying it and keep visualizing them in my mind not coming back. Okay? So this is the broom spell from the hoodoo tradition. So if you try it, let me know what happens. Thank you for being here, patrons. And I'll see you next week, and I'll teach you how to do something else. And don't worry, this will not hurt the person. It will just make them go away. I wanted to mention that just in case you're worried. The kind of magic I do, I never hurt people. Now, there are some very harmful things that I've seen in this book and other spell books and things like that. But it's up to you what you do, and it's up to you what you don't do. And I always steer away from harming people. So this will not harm them. It'll just make them be like, you know, I don't think I want to go back over there no more. It just makes them have that feeling. Not anything that they can put their finger on, but nah, I'm going to leave that person alone. Okay? All right, guys. See you next week.